What is up, friends? Sorry for my weird start there. I wasn't sure if it was rolling, but we're rolling now. This is, as I've made clear here within the first 10 seconds, the market update, which is a very raw, straight to the point. I just talk to the camera and take you through data. State of the union. If the union is the Denver real estate market. No fancy edits in this one. No editor, no nothing. This is just me talking, hopefully not rambling too long, rambling a little bit, because that's what I do. I'm prone to ramble, but we're going to give you guys the state of the market, state of the real estate market, where we've come, where we're going, what it is right now, whether you're thinking about buying or selling or just curious about what's going on. So I'll give you the TLDR version up front. That'll sort of act as just this is where we're at, and then a summary in case you don't want to watch the whole thing. Don't watch the whole thing. So first of all, in case you don't know, Sam Newman, Denver real estate agent. I aim to be your go-to guy for anything real estate in the Denver metro. When it comes to interest rates, obviously interest rates kind of suck right now. Where are they, Sam? Depends on who you ask. You're going to get a different answer from every online portal, every mortgage broker. I don't know why, but that's the way it is. And it also does depend largely on the borrower and the situation and how much money you're putting down and all that other stuff. About 7%, not great. However, better than they were last October when they peaked at around 8%. So they came down quite a bit since then, came back up a little bit. The point is, obviously, that weighs heavily on affordability, which if you've been paying attention at all, you've heard someone complain about over the last few years. So mortgage rates are high. That makes affordability tough. Typically, when money gets so much more expensive, since people can afford less, what happens is home prices, in this case, would go down. Why haven't they gone down? Because we still have a supply issue, which I will take you through. There's still way more people who want to buy homes than homes available for sale. There's a whole bunch of reasons for that, which we can get into, or you and I can talk about privately. The other factor is seasonality. So where we're at right now, we are in the midst of the spring selling season, which is the most intense real estate selling time. The most deals happen, and it's typically the strongest market if you're a seller in Denver, Colorado. So that spans really from January 1st all the way to July. Sam, that's not spring. That's the first half of the year. Yes. And the most intense part of that is kind of from late February to late May. So we're in that right now. And so what you're going to see is there's a lot more deals happening. It's a lot more hot. It's a lot stronger of a market than it was the second half of last year. We are expecting sort of a repeat of 2023, and I'll explain to you what that means because you have had to look purely at my face long enough. So instead, let's look at someone else's face. Megan Aller. Know her. We love her. She's a title rep in the area. If you've watched these before, you've seen her face here. This is her market review. It's the best. We have to pay for these now. She used to give them to us for free. But instead, we now have to pay for them. There's a reason for that. They're still not expensive and still well worth it. It's the best data. DMAR, Denver Metro Area of Realtors, puts out one of these too, but it's not as good. I feel confident saying that. So Megan's going to tell us what's going on. She's got a highlight reel here, which is a bunch of text that is probably not very friendly if you're watching this video on a mobile device, which many of you are. Basically, it says the market's getting hotter. Let's look at why. So first, we're going to break it down by price a little bit, but first I just want to look at all the prices. And by the way, this is in all the 7 Denver metro counties. So that means something. It's basically everything. Douglas County, Arapahoe County, Adams County, Denver County, the whole Denver metro, not Boulder. That's the one thing it doesn't include because Boulder skews the data because Boulder, everything is crazy expensive. Many things in Denver are crazy expensive too, but nevertheless. So this is all price ranges in the Denver metro. And basically what we're looking at here, the big thing, where do I move myself? Let's go right there. The big thing is this black bar, gang. And this tells us months of supply, how much supply there is. I talked about supply up front. If you've heard me do these market updates before, you've heard me talk about supply a lot more. You've seen the supply goes up and down. And really what you're seeing here is, well, a few different things, because if we're going back to 2020, into 2021, this is when everything got crazy and there was no supply to speak of. But if you go to 2022 and into 2023, we get more of a normal bell curve, and that shows seasonality. Supply peaks second half of the year, then comes way down. in the beginning, strong selling season. Is that because there's fewer homes going on the market? No, there's more. There's just way more people buying them, so they don't last as long. So right now, where we're at, predictive months of supply is right at 1.1 months of supply. Many of our normal viewers know that 1 month of supply is kind of that line of demarcation between, or whereas multiple offers begin if you go underneath it. So right now we're just above it. We do have multiple offers happening some of the time. Nothing like it was in the height of the COVID period. But if the home is priced right, if it is presented well, and if it is in a good, desirable neighborhood, there's a chance you will get multiple offers. Multiple offers this time doesn't mean 13 like it used to. It means 3, maybe 5, maybe 2. If the other thing is, and I'm just spoiler alert because we'll get into this later, but those lower price points, especially if it's a single family home between $400,000 and $600,000, that is the most intense, the most competitive market segment in the Denver metro. If you're looking for a single family home between $400,000 and $600,000, you are going to be in a fight right now until about the middle of the year. It's still going to be the most challenging because it's the most affordable segment, obviously, and there are the most people looking for them. As the price point gets higher, typically there's less competition, not always, but typically. So that's what's going on right now. And like I said, so we're seeing, just real quick, this bell curve, which explains kind of what's going on with the market. We typically see, look at what happened in 2022. So in the beginning, where's my draw thing? Because I'm going to draw on this, because I'm going to sit on this for a while. So in the beginning, let's make it bigger. Why not? In the beginning of 2022, that was the height of the market. All of this market, that was the height of the market. That's when things got the craziest because interest rates were still low, and there's been this pent-up demand, and the what's the word? Supply issue wasn't getting any better. It was a bloodbath. And then guess what happened right around May, June? Interest rates. You remember it. People were getting 5%, and they were like, what is this? This is the worst thing I've ever seen. 5%. And so what happened? Inventory went way, way up. Not like a lot more people were selling houses. Again, they weren't. It's just way fewer people were buying them because now all of a sudden it didn't seem like a good idea. Well, that happened the second half of 2022. 2023, people started getting, the interest rates got a little bit better. They kind of didn't, but people started getting used to it. And that's one thing we noticed that I've been telling people a lot. Consumers tend to be, based on the data, actually more sensitive to changes in interest rates than the rate themselves. Some people have said, well, Sam, that doesn't make any sense because the interest rate, it makes it way, way harder to buy a house. It costs way more when the interest rate's 7, not 3. Yes, that is true. But consumer behavior doesn't always follow logic. I know. We do, believe it or not, make decisions most of the time emotionally and then justify them rationally later. And buying houses is no exception to that. So people got used to it. And really the first half of 2023 was strong. Nothing like 2021 or 2022 strong, but strong. You're seeing lower lines means less inventory, means more competition, means hotter market. Okay. And so 2023 followed for the first time on this chart, a more typical bell curve. Like I said, a more typical sort of flow, seasonal flow. All the COVID craziness finished, and 2023 was kind of more typical after 2022. And then 2023, the start of the year, low inventory, under 1 month of supply. But then it went up quite a bit, up to 2.5, over 3 months supply in this one outlier of a month. Here, we are expecting in 2024 and have so far seen kind of a repeat of 2023, maybe even a little more buyer friendly. But I'm ready to move off this one. And I won't spend so much time on all this, you guys, I promise. I do want to look at median days on market. Right now, for all prices, it's 9 median days on market. Let me get this thing back. Done. 9 median days. Okay, that's not working. I'm not going to try to draw. It's not working, but it used to be 4 when things were the craziest. Now it's 9, but you see it's come way, way down from over 40. Again, 2022, 2023. Probably see a similar thing in 2024. Why am I giving you all this data? Well, it's so you can make informed decisions. And so what I really need to do is put it into context. So I feel like I've said enough things now where I can say, hopefully, why does it matter and what does it mean? Well, if you're a buyer, it's not a bad time to buy right now. You are going to be in more competition, but there's going to be more homes to choose from. In the second half of the year, there will be less competition. Let's go full screen just for this, but fewer homes to choose from. Bar none. You have a better chance to not be competing against multiple offers and a better chance to get some sort of seller concessions. You will not have as good a chance to find the perfect home, perfect meaning whatever that means to you, because there won't be as many on the market. Now, there should be a sweet spot in there between, let's look at it. Where were we? Yeah, kind of, and this data lags, by the way, but kind of between, let's say, the end of May and mid-July. July 4th is a big kind of a line where things start to calm down too, because now people are in the summer. They want to do summer stuff. They don't want to list their house. They don't want to buy houses. But somewhere in there, late May, really June, could be a golden period where there's still enough homes either coming on the market or sitting on the market that you'll still have enough to choose from, but the buyer frenzy of the spring has died down. If you're trying to time it, that's probably a good time frame to shoot for. However, don't try to time it because of a lot of reasons. Just start hunting when it works for you and then navigate the market with what makes sense. But I think that could be a good period of opportunity for buyers. This is the price reductions. Currently, we have price reductions at just over a quarter of transactions. This is blue bar here. It peaked at over 50% when the market was really correcting itself. So it's about half that right now. Once we go real quick, so just breaking it down by price range, this is under $500,000 up to $500,000. You see on this one, and I'll move myself again, but you see on this one, our months of supply right now is lower. It's not a ton lower, but it's lower. It's under 1 month of supply. So you're seeing why it's more competitive at this price point. This is showings per listing 3.7. Even at this lower price point, if you look back in the height of the market, they averaged, at one point it was over 50 showings a week. So that's not going to happen anymore. If we go 5 to $1 million, it doesn't really, I don't love that it's broken down like this, because really, like I said, I want to look at that $400,000 to $600,000 price point. But typically, homes around this are going to be way, way, way more competitive. Then as we get closer to $1 million, it can still be competitive, but not so much. So if we go down to this, we're at 1 month of supply in the $500,000 to $1 million price range. If you look at days on market, it's 7. Median days on market are 7, okay, all the way down here. And that's because of, I never quite got 7. 7, believe me, I can't highlight it for some reason. That's largely buoyed by the prices in this segment that are closer to $500,000. $1 million to $1.5 million, interestingly enough, still pretty darn strong. Months of supply right now, $1 million to $1.5 million are 1.4. So quite a bit more supply, quite a bit more inventory, but not as much as you might think, not as big a change as you might think. Median days on market is also 7 in this. So there's this sort of interesting sweet spot for higher buying power buyers, right around $1 million, just over $1 million, that they're looking for properties in those ideal Denver areas. Like I was going to say neighborhoods, so it could be Sloan's Lake, it could be not so much Wash Park anymore, but Platt Park, Edgewater, Highlands, or even Congress Park, or it could be some of the more desirable suburbs too, where there are big houses that are priced right around there. Still a pretty strong market right now. Once we get to 1.5 up to $2 million, you're going to see big change. Months of supply then 2.3. We almost doubled. Okay. There's just, at this point, loans aren't working so well anymore at that price point. We're getting into high jumbo territory and all these other things. It is going to be a slower market at that price point. Median days on market, 36. There you go. You may not care what's happening, 1.5 million to 2 million, but I like to show it too. 2 million to 3 million. Oh yeah, I don't even include the data there because there's not enough. It doesn't do much for us. So putting it all into context, I told you if you're a buyer, what I would recommend doing. If you're a seller, I've said this before, it probably doesn't matter because you're probably already getting your house ready to sell. If you've thought about selling it. If you haven't, I'm telling people right now, basically, get it ready. And you should be listing no later than May. early May if possible. I'd love to list in April. That could be a sweet spot for a seller. Right now it's mid-March. That's totally doable. If you get your ducks in a row now, list in April. Yeah, you can do that. No later than May. And then if you're just someone who's thinking about doing this in the future, what's going to happen? Guys, we're just moving into a more reasonable, more normal real estate cycle than we've seen in the last 3-4 years. And so that's going to benefit everybody in the long run. There's still some great opportunities for new builds with seller incentives because they have a lot of new build inventory that they built when the market was 2021 that they have to sell now. So you can get some great concessions and incentives on new builds. And, beyond that, you just want to, people are going to say, what are interest rates going to do? They're supposed to come down this year. I would be shocked if they came down a ton, but the Fed has still said we're going to do 3 interest rate cuts. Those cuts haven't happened as fast. Like basically they haven't done one yet. So at this point, we're looking at maybe later spring, mid-year before the first one happens. So who knows if we'll get 3. The CPI data that came out a few days ago was okay, not great, but certainly not anything that would say, okay, inflation's over. Let's start giving away money again. So interest rates are right around 7 right now. Wouldn't be surprised if they ended the year in the low 6s. If they were significantly lower than that, that would be a shock to me. But even 7 to the low 6s can make a big difference and does make a big difference, honestly. And then the other question is, when should I buy? Should I wait to buy? I had this conversation with somebody the other day and they brought it up, but I thought it was just a very adroit point. You still have to be able to afford the interest rate right now. But if you can buy, if you can afford that, you can get the benefit, and I know it seems crazy like this, you can get the benefit of a more reasonable market of lower prices right now than when interest rates drop, whenever they drop dramatically. Don't know when that's going to be. But yes, if interest rates go into the 5s, all this stuff is going to change a lot and prices are going to go up and it's going to get way harder to get under contract. If you get under contract, get a house now, you can always refi into that better rate if and when it happens. Could be a year from now, could be 10. I don't know. Stop trying to predict what these folks are going to do. But the point of it all is that I love you and I'm here to help. And if you watch this long, you are just the best. See you soon.